Welcome to State of Tech. Let's take a look at recording 1080p slow motion video. So by default, our camera is set to record at 720p at 240 frames a second. Now this is really cool slow motion video that you can record, but if you are a quality snob, you can actually put it into 1080p at 120 frames a second. So the way that you do this is actually come into your settings. We're going to swipe down until we see photos and camera, tap into there, and then swipe down until we see camera. So we have record slow-mo. Currently by default it's set to 720p at 240 frames a second. If I tap in there, I can choose 1080p at 120 frames, and notice down below that we have a minute of footage will approximately be 375 megabytes for 1080p at 120 or 300 megabytes for 720 at 240. So the size difference is really minor, but if you're worried about storage, you can see the differences here. If I tap on 1080 at 120 frames a second, now if I jump into my camera, if I come into the slow-mo tab, we'll swipe over our video. Notice in the bottom right hand corner, I have 120 frames a second. This is my telltale sign to know that I'm actually in a 1080p mode. Just as with the 4K video, we will only see those badges whenever we are changing the default settings. So if I come back into my settings and choose 1080p HD at 240 frames a second, notice if I back into the camera, that badge is gone. Now whenever I move the camera, it seems like it's really fast paced and there's not really a lot of motion to it. And if I come back into, say, a video mode, notice that the actual shaking of the camera is a lot less drastic and it doesn't look so cartoonish in a sense. That's just the slow motion. You're recording at a really high frame rate, so the camera is actually working differently. And you can see that frame rate in action before you record right here with the slow motion camera. And again, if you wanted to switch into a higher resolution but slower frames per second, just go to your settings and choose 1080, and then you'll see that badge down the bottom corner of the camera. So that is how you actually record 1080p at 120 frames a second slow motion video on your iPhone SE. And for more tips like this, be sure and subscribe to State of Tech, and we'll see you in the next video.